All right, Yarok Field. This one is my deck of choice for the MCQ this weekend. We're trying a few different things. I slotted the Tamiyo back in. I talked about this at the end of yesterday's segment with this deck. I slotted the Tamiyo back in, and I'm back to Thought Erasure over Growth Spiral. I think Growth Spiral hedges the aggressive decks better, but I think Thought Erasure lets us poke through mid-range and control in the other Scape Shift decks a little bit better. So I think I'm leaning towards Thought Erasure being slightly better overall, because people tend to like to play a lot of grindy mid-range in Magic in general, and like this format is pretty kind to grindy mid-range. Thanks, Riki. Happy Tuesday. The Yarok Field configuration we played yesterday also did not play Tamiyo. Gendy, I cut the one of. This hand's fine. Is there any consideration to splitting the difference between Erasure and Spiral? Yeah, I'd rather just be more consistent, Branch. So, leading on Risen Reef as opposed to Rejuvenator makes me less likely to be able to stick Cavalier next turn, but getting Reef down before I Cavalier is ideal, and we were really lucky and hit not only a land, but a green source here, so that's great. Civil Penguin, thank you for the 4 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me around. You know, I bet this matchup is really hard for us. I have a 7-week-old, so getting in and out of bed fast is paramount. Yep. Our deck has a lot of really expensive spells in it. Our priority in this matchup is being able to keep their threats off the table, because if they're countering our spells and not attacking us, it doesn't really matter. So they really can't beat most of our resolved spells. The problem is most of our spells are not going to be resolving MFK. That's the issue. And at this point, especially with another Cavalier in my hand, I'm just going to jam into these Frilled Mystics. Because if I don't jam into them, there's a chance that they just play like Night Pack Ambusher. And they didn't have a Frilled Mystic there, they had a Sinister Sabotage, so that's great for me. As long as I have threats to make them counter, we're just gonna jam them every turn. They cast Shock, for someone who said they're wondering what the red mana is for. Probably got like Shocks and Lightning Strikes. I wonder if they forgot about this Blast Zone. I'm gonna blow this up now before we play Grazer. I haven't played this matchup much, so I don't know if it's good, bad, or otherwise, but this is one thing that I do know about playing decks like this is that, or matchups like this, is that these matchups tend to feel much worse than they actually are a lot of the time. So like, from an emotional perspective, it's very taxing to have every spell you play get countered, but like, in a board state like this, where I'm just like, hitting them with this 3/5 every turn, I'm actually ahead, right? Yeah. If they have a Night Pack Ambusher here, they're going to be in a pretty reasonable spot, though. Yep. Absolute best card they could play there. I'm gonna lead on this, because I think whatever I cast here is getting countered. I'd rather this get countered than Cavalier get countered. Wow, that's unfortunate. Did not know I was playing around that card.
I would like to test a new hypothesis with you. No tail should be discarded.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This will start making 2/2s, so that's great. And I'm going to Assassin's Trophy during my opponent's upkeep, because this way, if they play a spell to protect this, they don't generate a zombie this turn. Or they don't generate a wolf this turn. Yeah, probably Fluck. I would assume that that's the case. So I have a Grazer to protect my Tamiyo this turn, which is great. They're not getting a wolf. If we hit Trophy here, we're in a very good spot. Need them to also not have a removal spell. They're conceding, right? Yep. Name the card you want, chat. Name the card you want. This is definitely a Nexus of Fate out. Durka. Let's get you a sword to go with that shield. Thanks for keeping me around. Hope you're having a good one wherever you are. All right, what am I supposed to be trimming here? I think this is I know we just hit with Tamiyo there, but I'm pretty sure this is a Tamiyo out matchup. I think, is it crazy to cut a Yarok or two in this matchup? I feel like it's not. I feel like this matchup is not about Yarok, and just having it in play isn't good enough. Do you ever cut lands during sideboarding? Not with this deck. I don't think so. I wonder how I feel about Thought Erasure versus Disfigure. I feel like I just want to be able to kill all their stuff all the time, right? And like, this is still kind of hard to generate a double spell turn with. Let's try this. First time playing a flash matchup of any sort with this archetype. I feel like if we keep Wolf off the table, we basically can't lose. So I think just like max ways to like keep all their threats down is ideal. This hand obviously is missing a black source, but I'm on the draw with the Scry. And I also have Ceratops notably, so... And they have like turn 2 Cutthroat, and I don't have a black source. We could be in a lot of trouble. They have like a bunch of counter spells to follow it up. No turn, no play there is really good for us. I assume this isn't resolving. All right, any untapped land next turn is great, obviously. Your move, Yugi boy. Nice flash deck. Nice flash deck. Yikes. Straight to the Shadow Realm, yep. I mean, to be fair, Lava Coil isn't really good against my main deck Drakios, so there's a good chance that they have Lava Coils and just didn't sideboard them in. Are you a mind reader? I am essentially a mind reader. Now, this is one of the things about Thought Erasure, and like, maybe I should just maybe I should get one more black source in this deck if I want to play Thought Erasure. It might be that I want to get up to 12 black in the mana base with Erasure. It definitely makes having black mana early more important. Yeah, like, if these were growth spirals here, just like something to think about. If these were growth spirals, I'd have a better chance to hit black sources for these two. Yeah, I think we're dead at this point. All right, we weren't finding black mana regardless. Got it? No, you can't just remove Baby Teferi from play. People that think you can just have a good removal spell for Teferi don't understand why Teferi is good. The reason why Teferi is a powerful Magic the Gathering card is because it draws a card when it comes into play. You can't just kill it because it's already gotten value. Sure, it's a very, very small window. It's a very small window where it's okay. And it assumes like you're always able to hold a mana up. It's like not amazing, but it's fine. Were there leaked cards from the new set? I didn't see those. Oh, from the Planeswalker deck, so probably not constructed playable. Yep. No, we played X with Teferi all the time. We can both talk about and understand that a card creates bad play patterns, while also understand that, like, it's important to be able to play it in the format. In order to be competitive. I'm assuming they don't have a 3-drop to play here. Yeah, because they declined putting this into play untapped. So in response to this trigger, I'm going to go ahead and cast this down so they draw 1 fewer cards. Which figure's not a bad pickup. I think I want to just play Yarok here. I'm going to feel bad when it dies, but I think it's important to use all 5 of my mana this turn. On the off chance they can't kill it, it stabilizes the board really nicely. Just casually drawn 7 cards the last 2 turns. Why not? Would love any enter the battlefield effect here, obviously. Like that one. Like that one. Morning, Ghosty. I already have a breeding pool. I do not have an Overgrown Tomb. This makes a bunch of zombies. And I feel like this is a good example of why this matchup's pretty okay for us. Like, they drew 7 cards this game, and I feel like we're ahead at the moment. So I'm gonna witch figure this when they go to enter combat, just so they have to throw away an extra thing if they want to get in here. I'm actually gonna go ahead and block here. So this will be a 5/6. Do I want to put a bunch of zombies? Do I want to put a zombie here too? So if I put a zombie here, this pumps up to a... One pump makes this a 5/6. So if I put a zombie here, they have to pump this twice, and it takes their whole turn, which I think is profitable for me since they have so many cards in their hand. And like the zombie's kind of a throwaway, right? So if they don't want this to die, they have to pump it twice. And then like if they kill my Cavalier of Thorns, I get to put a Risen Reef on top of my deck here, which triggers twice. Wouldn't 2 zombies kill it? 2 zombies would kill it. That's fair. I don't think I care about that though. I think if I put 2 zombies on it, there's a good chance that they don't double pump it, and I really want them to double pump it. Yeah, Arboreal Grazer should get cut in every non-aggressive matchup. Every non-aggro matchup, Grazer should come out. Grazer's just like filler that's good against aggro. Yep. So again, just like making plays that force my opponent to use their mana while they have a bunch of cards in their hand. So that block there forces them to pump, and then we blast them to trade. This is actually a great draw, because not only is it a land to generate a giant board for us, but it draws us a bunch of cards next turn. There's a lot of micro decisions with this deck where you get like little bit of extra value by and can generate tempo in different ways depending on what things look like on the board. My opponent drew 7 extra cards that game, and it just wasn't good enough. I think I'm happy with how we board in. Those blocks were a good example of how we have late game inevitability, so I'm willing to trade some card advantage for tempo in this instance. So like making my opponent spend a bunch of mana to keep their thing around generates tempo because they're spending mana instead of adding to the board. Nah, I don't think it really matters, Sunshine. I'd rather have an extra blocker sooner. And then, like, hey, the difference between, like, having 8 zombies and having 12 zombies is pretty minimal. Yeah, M20 was great. I liked this current standard format much more than what we were playing during war. Missed a win against this deck yesterday because the opponent had 2 life, and I could have attacked with Dreadhorde Arcanist and played God's Willing from the yard and made my Vanguard unblockable. Yeah, a lot of little things in this format. When you think about Healer of the Glade in the Grazer spot, it's good against aggro, but also has elemental synergy. So, Grazer is better in the non-aggro matchups. Game 1, Thunderwunk is what it comes down to. Because accelerating in the non-aggressive matchups is much better than gaining 3 life. Thanks for the 3/4 of a year Underplix. I appreciate it. Pretty sure this is a mulligan. Just don't have any either colors for these, right? Like 1 castable spell. Yeah, this hand's much better. I'm gonna keep. I think I'm actually bottoming Grazer here. I can't play it on 1 anyways. And like my turn 2 is like cast down, my turn 3 is Rejuvenator. So that seems fine. I just like thinking about what my turn sequencing ends up looking like here. Well, thanks for being here, Bebo, and keeping me here educating. Missing a land drop there is absurd for us. We're gonna play the Overgrown Tomb rather than the Watery Grave here, because if this hits a green source, it means any untapped land lets us play this next turn. Missed on the green, unfortunately. Not too big of a deal. I've got another one here. Easiest block of our lives here if they attack with that. Loving Yarok Field. Keep up the great content. Thanks for the 5 months, Scamos. I appreciate that. I don't have a breeding pool yet, right? Yeah, I want to just make sure I'm getting differently named lands here. Also, keeping basics in my decks tend to be good because I have a Field of Ruin. That comes up on occasion. I don't think I want to trophy this turn. Do I want to leave myself the ability to trophy this turn? Nah, I probably don't. They're missing land drops. I don't want to trophy them this turn. If they attack with this, I'm going to double block. Yeah, the no attacks there is just incredibly good for us. It's the Field of Dead. It makes 2/2s. The Field of the Dead. This game seems like it's over. Cheek Chabika, thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. Thanks for shipping your Bezo bucks this way this month and keeping me employed. Hope you're having a wonderful Tuesday wherever you are. We got a Memorial to Genius hiding down here in our lands too. They can help us gas back up here in a second. Is Doomblade too strong for Standard? I don't think generically Doomblade is too strong for Standard. I mean, like, you could probably even make the argument that, like, if you look at the Standard format, Doomblade's probably worse than Cast Down, right? Like, the opponent's deck is the premier aggro deck of the format, which I think makes Doomblade worse than Cast Down. I think I'm just passing for now. I'm at a point where I'm ahead, but like 1 Legion's End can put me behind pretty quickly. So I want to save this trophy for emergency purposes. If they get overly aggressive with this knight, we might be able to punish them a little bit too. I don't really have anything too good in my graveyard at the moment if they kill my Cavalier, which sucks. I guess getting cast down back is fine. You don't think Mana Leak is too strong for standard either. I mean, you're entitled to your opinions, however bad they may be. All I'm gonna say is the last time they printed Mana Leak in standard, they felt it necessary to print Cavern of Souls. So that gives you some context into what Mana Leak does in standard. Yeah, you can't trophy your own guards, which is awkward against Legion's End. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
I bestow a mighty curse.
As always, thanks for the great content to come home to work to. Thanks for the quality streams, the insightful commentary, and the commitment to engaging in dialogue with chat and timeouts. Thanks for the 2/3 of a year, Silent Faith. It's actually a pretty good pickup. That's like 2 zombies all in one, and more importantly, it's an instant speed zombie. Is it crazy to get aggressive and kill Sorin here? I could like trophy this and send these plus this here and have these back to block still. If I do that, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 mana left. I could just trophy the Sorin too. Yeah, I'm just gonna hang tight for now. I feel like we're in an okay spot. The Knight of the Ebon Legion is also like potentially scary. There's some merit to like mostly ignoring the Sorin and just like dealing with their threats, because the Sorin's not good if they don't have vampires with it. I think I'd rather have a scry than the point of life here. Extra Field of Dead. Yeah, that's probably fine. We've been some Risen Reefs there too, which is nice. Tori Bessett, thank you for the biddies. Thanks for being here. So they can make this an 11-12. So how about I just do this? I think this trade is good for me, because like these zombies suddenly become very worthless if they draw Legion's End at any point. I'm gonna do this. It's a little aggressive, but with this trophy, I think this is fine. I mean, I don't know that the mana was really wasted there, because they probably don't have that many meaningful things in their hand at this point. My heart is too hollow to care. Oh, sorry, you're such a tough guy. Yeah, they probably have a sword in hand. I agree with that assessment. Yeah, and like I have 2 zombies, and I have 2 instant speed zombies here. So like, even if they attack and flip this, I like get to field and kill it and then make some zombies and then trophy this. So this happens now before blocks. I do this. And then, like, not only did we kill their Sorin with that Cavalier attack, but, like, now we've encouraged our opponent to make what ends up being a pretty bad attack since we have our Assassin's Trophy in hand, plus Field of Rune. So that ends up working out really elegantly for us. Oh, we're gonna look at the mana, right? I should probably look at the mana base. You know, I'm gonna keep playing with it now, and I'm gonna sit down and think through the mana tonight if we're gonna keep playing Thought Erasure. Yeah, we're on the draw. Sounds great. Hands a little medium against vampires, though Watery Grave's a good pickup here. Down to 17. This puts us to 15. Yeah, this is the deck I'm playing for the qualifier this weekend. And just so you have your vernacular correct, even though they're inviting a bunch of people, they're calling them Mythic Championships still. For whatever reason. Huh? So what's better here? Is it better to trophy the Lieutenant this turn or just trophy the Sanctum Seeker? I'm taking 5 on an attack. I'm taking 3 on an attack if I trophy the Lieutenant this turn. Or taking 2. I think I want to trophy the Lieutenant. This might be wrong though. Especially if they have another 1-drop here, this is pretty wrong. I mean, this deck just goes bigger than the decks that are playing Nissa and Mass Manipulation, so I think on average you're pretty okay there. So next turn I get to go land, Tamiyo, pick trophy up, trophy Sanctum Seeker. I think I'm going to gain 3 with the Rejuvenator on block this turn. We're taking 4 on this attack. Tefri in training, thank you for the entire year of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. I think that's probably dead. Yeah. The final cut will be decided Friday night. Honestly, the final cut might be decided Saturday morning. Let's get you a sword, Tefri. This isn't a paper tournament where, like, I have to, like, spend a bunch of effort finding cards a week in advance, so wouldn't be surprised if we play more games with Growth Spiral this week. At the end of the day, it's probably a pretty minimalistic change in either direction. Like, both of those cards are going to win you some games that the other won't. Fueling Nissa with more lands feels bad. No, Trophy is great against Nissa, because it kills Nissa for 2 mana. Sand needs some lands, but the spells are pretty good. Sure. Should run 6 fields. Unfortunately, one of the downsides to Magic Arena is that you can't Alex Bertensini it. Just gonna go ahead and Witch Figure this one here. Alright, if we just draw lands for the next 2 turns, with one of them being untapped, we'll be in a pretty good spot. How did Modern go? Believe it or not, 5-color Niv Mizzet doesn't appear to be Modern playable. I know that's gonna shock many of you. Yeah, Spark Double with Yarok is what we would refer to as win more. One Yarok in play already does plenty. You don't need a second one. That's pretty unfortunate. We had a pretty good start in the play here, but missing our 4th land drop in our 29 land deck is, you know, something that happens in this incredibly low variance game we call Magic the Gathering. Marcus, I'd encourage you to read Veil of Summer. Veil of Summer does not draw a card if they haven't cast a blue or black spell in the turn. So there's going to be a lot of matches where Veil of the Summer doesn't work out that way. Also, it's a pretty common occurrence that you don't have a extra mana to spare. So you would much rather have proactive disruption in the form of something like Thought Erasure that you can play the turn before you play Yarok, rather than waiting to play Yarok when you have 6 mana up. Yeah, especially an extra green mana at that. Like, we occasionally struggle to hit triple green for Cavalier, so like hitting quad green consistently is probably not going to happen. Vampires take 2, the Electric Boogaloo. Listen, if you're choosing to register Vanifear Prime Speaker in Modern, you should just follow your heart and play whatever Magic cards you want, okay? You're clearly not trying to be competitive, just whatever cards tickle your fancy, sleeve them up. You're sick of vampires? See, I actually really like the gameplay against vampires. I think vampires is a fantastic deck to have be the best deck in the format. It might be wrong to trophy here because if they have an untapped land, which they're likely to, they get to play this turn. Why not play Rejuvenator there? Why should I play Rejuvenator there? Instead of me telling you you're wrong, tell me why you're right. Why is that the correct play? Form a logical argument. Have a discussion. So I would say we're in an okay spot in spite of everything, but my opponent's about to draw 3 cards, so, you know. If they don't find a way to deal with the Yarok, we could be okay here. That gives flying. Yep. Would love to draw an untapped green source here, like a buddy land. Well... Dead to Sorin. Dead to Sorin, dead to removal. I think this is right too. It's gonna feel bad when they untap and kill us, but I think this is correct. This is definitely a game that, like, play versus the draw was a big factor here. We're just like half a turn too slow here and dead to a bunch of stuff. Am I not dead yet? I get to attack with Yarok next turn and gain 3 life, which is pretty good. Main deck Vana. Yep. We wanted you last turn, land. We wanted you last turn. Vana's a card that Vampires frequently plays in the sideboard. And I have to imagine this card's, like, pretty reasonable in the mirror, just as, like, a 4/4 lifelinker. I mean, even if they know it has reach, they can just, like, attack still, right? The most recent MPL players had 1 Vana main in most decks. Yeah, I'd believe that. One of your finest O3s, please. Alright. And they're hoping to draw Legion's End here, essentially. Am I dead yet? Yeah, basically, Twin. It's a couple of indicates that a Matter Skull is exactly correct. This can only activate on their turn, though, right? So if they activate this to, like, shoot Yarok, they don't have Lifelinker up to block my zombies in the backswing. Yeah, a lot of the Vampires decks have, like, somewhere between 1 and 3 Legion's End in their main deck. Just because, like, Legion's End is pretty good in the Vampire Mirror, and it's good against the Field of the Dead decks. So it covers, like, the big 2. Stealing game 1 here on the draw is a big deal. Makes winning the set much, much easier. Yeah, sometimes they don't have it. Sometimes you're just like, this is my stuff, are you dead? And they're like, yep. In fact, Legion's End is good against vampires, that's why we're putting them in here. Vana helps the red matchup. Yeah, I'd believe that. I'd believe that. Hello, police? Robbery again. Yes, on the draw this time. Yeah, this is pretty reasonable. I'd really love a second untapped land in the first few draws, so that's what we're going to be looking for with this Temple of Malady. We're probably scrying anything to the bottom that's not a removal spell or an untapped land here. We can cast down on 2. If we get to go cast down on 2 into Rejuvenator on 3, we should be in a very good spot. Sweet. And then if we're extra fortunate, we'll draw an untapped green source and be able to play Cavalier on 4. Drawing to 16 here. Watery Grave will put us to 14, but then Rejuvenator will get to block and gain us 3, so that's nice. Very nice. Very nice. Sweet. Any untapped land next turn will let us Yarok, which is excellent. Looking for a green source with this Rejuvenator. Perfect. I had a greedy Vamp player pay 8 life to save 2 Vanguards against a Chain Whirler. They lost that game. You don't say. If we just draw a tapped land here or something that can't, yeah, this, we could be dead here. We have a Sanctum Seeker. So we're taking 8 here down to 3, and then we're just dead to their triggers next turn, right? Yeah. Like I said, this matchup can be tough on the draw. Need a couple of things to break your way. We needed one more untapped land this game to have a real shot. Soars, thanks for the 15 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. This could find a life gain land, and then we're not dead on board. No, we're still dead on board, right? Yeah, we were so close to stabilizing, right? Because, like, this Grazer could put this into play and make 2 more zombies. We're just dead to the Sanctum Seeker triggers. Yeah, Legion's End would have been a superb draw there. I agree. Let's sit down for a bit. Grab a snack. I would love to play first. I have a Scryland. If this hand hits a blue source, it's like pretty reasonable. Maybe this is a mulligan because it doesn't have blue and it doesn't have removal. I could see that. Never didn't have it. Food is for winners. Listen, I'm fat and American. Don't deny me my snacks. My snacks keep me going. They give me the drive to actually win. That's rude. Poor little Risen Reef. He was so young. So, yeah, with the Disfigure draw especially, I'm gonna lead on the Reef here, just because I'd much prefer Reef be in play when we play the Yarok, right? Hitting the land there lets us make a zombie. That's excellent. And like this is a very beatable Sanctum Seeker, right? Oh, gosh. Oh, gosh. And now our Disfigure, this Disfigure is on countering Legion's End duty. Because we can disfigure our own creature in response to Legion's End targeting it to keep the rest of the zombies around. Invictius coming in hot with the pile of sub-gifties. Welcome to our newest members of Hooglandian. Thank you for the absurd support as always. And that's going to be to cut in a Golos deck here. So the reason why I activated Field in response there was because I wanted to get the extra zombie that Yarok generates. Thobble, thanks for the 20 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. So this does mean I no longer have Field of Ruin to, like, kill this Legion's Landing, but I don't think the Legion's Landing really matters. My zombies tend to race that on average. We're gonna kill my Risen Reef here, I assume.
Your lifeblood is sweeter than wine.
Was that a good draw, chat? What do we think? It's okay. Above average, maybe. So 3 things need to hit him, so I only have to attack with 4.
This wasn't my fight anyway.
So again, prioritizing saving this Witch figure here for countering a Legion's End effectively. And yeah, just to demonstrate that again, if I click the 7 here, it highlights all of them, or unhighlights them. Really good interface thing if you're playing these Field of the Dead decks. Another great interface thing for Field of the Dead mirrors, if they're attacking with 7 zombies, and I have 7 zombies to block, I can click this and then click their number, and it blocks all of them 1-to-1. So you can block 7 zombies to 7 zombies with 2 clicks. Again, not going to disfigure this here, even though I can kill it, because my opponent's out at this point is basically Legion's End. Although I guess it doesn't really matter, because even if they drew Legion's End here, if this was gone, they'd be dead. I did a 38 versus 42 manually, yeah. Yeah, the numbers, and little things like that, I wish the interface was more clear. Like, I feel like it should pop up a tooltip sometime. And maybe adding tooltips like that to hint at the interface are some of the things we're going to see added before the actual release in the fall. I could see that. So, basically, the fall is bringing Brawl and Historic with it, but Hasbro executives have also implied at several points that the fall release is going to be, they're going to remove the beta tag, which I assume is going to come with it a new push of like sponsored streams and stuff. And I can't validate this personally because I didn't hear them say it. But someone in the subs Discord yesterday said that Hafu and another one of the big Teamfight Tactics streamers mentioned that they had contracts to stream Arena coming up, which I assume that's going to coincide with the release this fall. And if so, that's like a good use of advertising dollars. Hafu said she's streaming MTG today. Oh, really? Already? Sweet. Okay. Interesting that they're doing it before rotation happens, but honestly, in my opinion, those dollars spent to bring in big streamers from other games are probably the best advertising dollars that they could spend. Like, no joke, money spent paying like Hafu and Thiz and other big streamers from similar games is probably money better spent than the MPL in terms of bringing new players into Magic. Magic is honestly, it's one of the best games ever made, right? Like, there's a reason why it survived for 26 years. Just like getting the product in front of people is most important. Yeah, so like the whole Savitz thing was kind of a mess because apparently he doesn't have a streaming contract, or if he does, it's not like that. Like, Savitz is a great content creator, and I wish he streamed more Magic, but just like, you know, Underlords gets him way more viewers than Magic ever will. So unless he has a contract to explicitly stream it for money, he's probably not going to, I'd imagine. I don't know. He knows his business better than other people, right? Looks like a Scape Shift or Field of the Dead mirror match. Kent, thank you for the 5-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome. Could be a Sultai Field mirror match, in which case double Risen Reef's a pretty good opener to have. MPL money is more about retention than bringing new players in. Yeah, to a degree. I don't know. I feel like if the MPL was about retention, like the feedback from players I've heard that are existing players, that they're not very happy with it. And especially like people like John Finkel and Eric Froelich talking about how like their interest in competitive Magic feels like at an all-time low, or their enjoyment of it. It feels like that whole thing's been kind of a mess. Would really love to draw an untapped Black Source this turn so we can disfigure this. I think I'm just doing this. So I'm gonna decline putting this into play because I've not played a land for the turn. So by declining it, I get to play this and then disfigure this. So that's an important thing to remember when you're doing Risen Reef triggers, is you can draw the land and then just play it for the turn in instances like this. Kent, for people asking about Kent, who had been on stream a couple of times, he moved out to the left coast and got an adult job with Amazon. Oh, geez, they're playing the quasi-duplicate variation. Quasi-duplicate's probably really good in the mirror. That being said, our start here isn't too shabby, so we might be able to power through. Like quad Reef trigger here into quad Rejuvenator triggers next turn is like pretty good. That's pretty good too. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So like next turn I'm gonna like double Cavalier, double Rejuvenator. Sounds great. Trophy twin. I had 4 trophies in the main the other day when we didn't have Tamiyo. Cavalier of Thorns kind of turns Tamiyo into Demonic Tutor here, as he's gonna bin a bunch of cards. Interesting that they tapped off their blue here. Maybe a little bit of a misstep on their part. Do I want to field their field is a real question. I might want to field their field here. Their field of runes, sorry, just to clarify. Let's do this first and see what happens. So, you want to stack the Cavalier of Thorns triggers first, because stacking the Cavalier of Thorns triggers first gives us the best chance to find more Field of the Deads. Because I just want a Field of the Dead, because then any land off of the Risen Reef trigger makes zombies. Well, this is one of those games where we really don't have a lot going on, huh? Alright, there we go. So there's one basic left in my deck. I think I just want to take them off their Field of Rune. And I can, because I hit 2 untapped lands on the Cavalier, I can hit their Field of Rune and then cast Rejuvenator this turn still as well. Oh, I guess the Scry doesn't really matter here, because I'm about to put another Elvish into place. I guess I just bottom non-utility lands here. Perfect. Yes, yeah, we're basically just looking for Nexus of Fate at this point. So this Cavalier digs 10 deep for Nexus of Fate next turn. Can I Cavalier, Tamiyo, and Nexus in the same turn? That requires 16 mana. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, so I'm a little bit short. Oh, the Risen Reef triggers too. Yeah, you're super right. Ian, thank you for the 41 months. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. I do get a land drop. This deck's definitely much better than the white version. The white version was just trying to be cute. Now there's a good chance that they that they get to Nexus loop us next turn if they hit, so... So they have a lot of zomboys and girls here. Yep. I get to double Cavalier quad Reef next turn, though. If we draw a Nexus of Fate off the Cavalier drawing 4 from Risen Reef, we're probably gonna win the game from there. There's only 25 cards in our deck, and this is gonna take 14 of them off. Well, there's our fields. Alright, there's 2 scries. 14 cards. We got 6 looks at a Nexus of Fate here. If Coiling Oracle was legal, we would definitely play in this deck. Not close. There's 2 more looks. 12 cards in our deck, and we've bottomed 2 of them. So now, before this trigger happens, I'm gonna cast this. So that way this is in my deck while this trigger happens. No reason to attack here. We're just gonna wait till we have lethal. I guess Thought Erasure is technically an okay pickup there. Oh, Tamiyo, get back the fields. Yeah, that's a good suggestion. Yeah, I definitely should have done that. I don't know. I don't think it matters. I think all roads are leading towards Rome at this point. I really like that one, Ghosty. In fact, next time we play Blue-White Skies for my preferred version, that's the version we're gonna play.
The past is never forgotten.
Alright, so I need 10 zombies to hit them to have lethal, so they're dead on board, right? They have 10, 11, 12, 13 blockers, and I have 27 attackers. Alright, so Legion's End, Noxious Grasp, Unmoored Ego, Trophy. I don't know how I feel about Ceratops in this matchup. So generally, I like to bring in Ceratops against anybody that's going to be egoing me. But it almost feels like I shouldn't here because its stats just don't line up well into Cavalier of Thorns. Need 3 more cuts here. I think Noxious Grasp is probably just not good enough. I think I'd rather have Trophy and Legion's End, and I like the rest of what's going on here. I love having a 2K gaming rig that can't handle arena without constant micro stutters. Yeah, me too. Me too, Alec. Me too. Is Noxious better than Thought Erasure? No, I don't think so. Especially because my opponent's gonna have Unmoored Ego post-board too, so I want to be able to erasure their egos on occasion. That's true. Spot removal is better here because they're playing Duplicate. So, like, killing their thing in response to them trying to copy it is good value. What are our major targets for Ego? If they don't have if they don't have multiple fields in play, you'd want to take Field first, and then probably Cavalier. But Field is definitely the number one thing you want to name. Also, in these mirror matches, one thing you want to consider when you're sequencing your lands is getting your fields onto the battlefield ASAP prevents them from getting egoed out of your deck. So that's something to consider as well. Giving higher priority to keeping hands that have field to play early so they don't get egoed. So like early ego or early fields are like two of the things you're looking for post-board in a matchup like this. Against any other Unmoored Ego. It's not just the mirror, it's just any deck where they have ego. When do you want to ego their ego? We actually, against Esper, I think egoing their ego tends to be good because Esper basically never beats you if they can't get rid of all of your Field of the Deads. So this hand, like, doesn't have either of those two things I was just talking about wanting, but it's just a good hand, so I think I'm going to keep it here. They left in Grazer post-board. I wonder how they sideboarded that they left this card in. For people in general who are taking notes about sideboarding on this deck, you should check out my article on Cool Stuff Inc. last week for generic sideboarding notes. But in general, against anything not aggressive, you should be cutting this card. Try and outrace us? Yeah, I feel like this is a matchup where you just can't race us. So their last two cards are spells, because this didn't put anything into play. Should I Legions end their Grazers? It's a 2-for-1 if I Legions end the Grazers, chat. You can see a Crackling counterpart here. When we played the Crackling counterpart variation, copying Rejuvenator is something that came up quite frequently. Honestly, it might be right to lead on Cavalier here, just because I feel like there's a high probability that they're gonna have a removal spell in hand since they didn't do anything. Yeah, I think maybe I should have led on Cavalier here, because if I wait to play Yarok, I can if I wait to play the Yarok, I could play the Temple right after and get an extra scry value off of it. Although, the removal being Assassin's Trophy here is, like, pretty reasonable for us. Extra land sounds great. Wouldn't be surprised to see this start cranking up. They definitely want this higher than 1 in this matchup. Yeah, I agree. I really like the war lands in general. The borderless ones were an easy snap call for me. Red Rover, let Grazer come over. And I feel like this game's been a good example of why you should cut Grazer in matchups like this. Like, for starters, the second one didn't do anything. And even the first one, like, what they accelerated into, like, wasn't really meaningful. Thought Erasure is a fantastic draw here. Gets to take a removal spell out of their hand, most likely. We might see something get trophied in response here. Would not be surprised to see this arc get blown up. I think I'm leaning towards Thought Erasure, but I also think I need to add at least one more black source to the mana base. Did they, you know what? You know what? My opponent took a really long time during sideboarding. I wonder if they got disconnected. I wonder if they're just playing their game 1 configuration here. I would not be surprised if that's what happened. I didn't need to shock there. I should have played Temple of Mysteries. I didn't realize I had triple green already. Yeah, that would make a lot of sense, I think. If they like there was I took my time sideboarding and like clicked submit and then we still waited. Yeah, I think there's a good chance my opponent's just not sideboarded right now. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, so I can grab a temple here even though I already have one because I already have 6 differently named lands. Field of Ruin. So I don't have any basics left in my deck, but taking them off of their Field of the Dead here sounds reasonable, so I'm going to go ahead and keep that on top. When Cavalier of Thorns ditches another Cavalier, it's so good. You're just like, what if my 5/6 just got another 5/6? Would that be okay? I want a Rejuvenator before I play this because we get into Field of the Dead here. And now, like I said, unfortunately, I don't have another basic to go get, but I want to take them off their field here. Yeah, that's not a bad suggestion. Maybe we want a Memorial to Folly in the deck. Yeah, it doesn't always recur. It often won't recur Cavaliers, but like picking up Risen Reef and Yarok are both like reasonable things to be doing. This is going to be our last match with this deck today because we got a lot of other sweet things I want to get to, but I think I'm going to work in a Memorial to Folly for tomorrow. I'm going to make a note of that. Because I am going to be streaming with this deck every day this week as one of the decks for my segments. And then there's going to be at least a short, hopefully a long Saturday stream where I play the MCQ. The Saturday stream will be run on a delay, obviously. People who are watching my stream will already know what I'm playing, so I'm not really worried about them knowing going into matches, but I don't want them to know what's in my hand for something like that. How long of a delay? At least 5 minutes. 5's probably plenty. You just want the delay to be long enough that people can't like wait and see what's in your hand and then make a play. Yeah, something like 10 plus might be appropriate because this deck does keep cards in its hand for a long time. So if someone's like watching my stream and I like keep an opening hand with a key card that doesn't get played till later, they could know that that key card is there. And 10 minutes makes that less likely to happen. In either event, whatever delay I end up going on, I'm planning to start the event at 8 a.m. Central when it goes live, so I won't be that far off of my normal start time. We had a bunch of people send a bunch of money in for a while to get this re-added, but no, I'm just adding decks into the queue. In fact, I've added a couple of decks into the queue recently just because the queue's been kind of light in general with submissions. Huh? Who I think Ark's actually a good suggestion. I like that. I think that's a good suggestion. Because, like, I have enough lands that, like, next turn I can play Arc, activate Arc, play Risen Reef. And I don't have any basics in my deck anyway, so I'm going to decline to search here so my deck stays the same. Yeah, like, we're both just kind of, like, looking at each other awkwardly, right? Don't draw on Mortigo. Don't cast on Mortigo and shuffle my deck. Don't cast on Mortigo and shuffle my deck. Don't cast on more. God bless America, my country. 'Tis of thee, sweet land of liberty, of thee I sing. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. Do 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 do. The fact that they're shuffling my deck is more frustrating than the fact that, like, I'm losing my Fields of the Dead here. Honestly. Oh, yeah, this does mean that they sideboarded and just left Disfigure and Arboreal Grazer in post-board. Weird. Yeah, alright. I got nothing then. Yeah, I guess Disfigure is a counterspell for Legion's End and lets your Cavaliers win in fights, I guess. Disfigure's almost defensible. I think Grazer is absurdly wrong. I could see configurations where leaving in Disfigures is fine. It kills Risen Reef too, which is important. This is an okay sequence. This is the professionalism you watch this stream to see, right, chat? And there's no reason not to play my lands out at this point, because there's no fields left in my deck. Snapbolt Snap, thank you for the 17 months of support. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yep, yeah, we can still win by looping Nexus for sure. Also, like, if we just, like, draw Assassin's Trophy, we're in a pretty good spot, right? I'm actually kind of surprised their Blast Zone didn't kill my Reef in response to the Centering. Deal 3, gain 3, draw a card. Alright. Alright, Nexus of Fate. Helix of Fate, yep. Yeah, I mean, like, having extra lands isn't really a problem, right? It's, like, not a big deal. That's the best draw in their deck! Ugh. No Field of the Dead, that's good for us. I assume they're scrying any not Field of the Dead cards to the bottom here. Alright, so this should be getting a field. Yep. Yep. Man, how did they sideboard? Did they just, like, trim around the edges to fit in sideboard cards? That must be the explanation, right? Yeah, maybe they cut lands? Maybe they went over 60? They cut quasi-duplicates? I don't know, cutting quasi-duplicates seems really weird. I feel like this is the duplicate matchup. Nah, I think each of their lands making one zombie is kind of whatever. Because I don't know that I want to pull the trigger on the Blast Zone on 5, chat. Blast Zone's symmetrical, and it'll kill my Yarok too. And it also kills their Cavalier, which lets them get something back. So I'm not certain I want to kill the Cavalier. So, like, I cranked this to 5 as an insurance policy, but I'm not certain that it's something I want to do. I wonder if they take our Nexus of Fate here. They can also just take Cavalier of Thorns. They egoed our egos. Excellent. Excellent. Hey, Vonnie, thank you. I'm glad you're enjoying it. Thanks for being here. This attack seems loose, right? It's like trading. It's basically like dealing 2 points of damage to me to take 3 points of damage back to them, which doesn't seem ideal. Celeris, thank you for the 10 months of support there. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me around. Yeah, we're currently winning the race, right? Like, they're dead in... Are they out of basics, or they just declined to search? No, they're out of basics. Their forest is over here. Yeah, second Cavalier of Thorns is pretty good. Oh, actually, this isn't that good at all, right? So in response to this trigger, we do this. Which then, their things that go back on top get cleared by the Cavalier of Thorns enter the battlefield trigger. So, like, playing this denies the dies triggers. Like, obviously they could get a Field of the Dead and then they're ahead from here. Oh, there is a field in their bins. They're gonna guaranteed get a field. I think that's fine, though. Like, I'm losing the race at this point, so I think this is worth it. I'm like, and yeah, now it's just a top deck race where they have field, so like, they're ahead because they have field, but I think this is our best chance to win the game. And like, if I draw another trophy or a Tamiyo, we could just like clean their field up. Yeah, Tamiyo is definitely our best draw. That's not bad, all things considered. This has been a good game of Magic. Good, solid back and forth. Yep. The Nexus of Fate. The Nexus of Fate. Hopefully our opponent like draws more Disfigures and Arboreal Grazers here. That would be ideal for us. I'm saying we know that's not a land because they'd have played a land to make a 2/2. Risen Reef on top's a pretty good beat. Beats by Dr. Reef. Cards in deck. I have 17, so I'm going down to 14 cards here. Be very quiet. We're trying to win the mirror. What do you think of playing Fine Finality instead of Legion's End? I think you're right that Fine Finality is... I think you're correct that Fine Finality is better in the mirror match. But I also think Fine Finality is much worse against vampires. Alright, sweet. They're dead. No, they're dead. They're deterministically dead. There's a Nexus of Fate in my deck, and my deck only has 3 cards in it. I have a Tamiyo in my hand. This was a hot game of Magic. This was a good one to end on. Right? Because our Nexus isn't exiled, right? Yep. Should they have named Nexus with the second ego? I think so. I think there's a good chance we'd have won here even if they had named Nexus. I'd have had to play a little bit differently. But yeah, I think the second one should have taken Nexus of Fate. Do we have to stop playing this? We are going to be done with this deck for today. Like I said, if you're someone who's brand new and you're really enjoying this deck and you want to see more of me playing it, head on over to magicesports.net, click Standard Decks and Yarok Field. We are going to play a bunch of other different decks today here, though, so if you prefer to stay live on Twitch, don't go anywhere. We're going to be here for another 3, 4, maybe even 5 hours yet. We'll see what the audience looks like while we get there. As far as the details in here are concerned, I think I've been liking Thought Erasure more than Growth Spiral, but I also think I need another black source in the mana base, because right now, this mana base only has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 black sources. So I think I need at least a 12th black source in here, and I think we're going to try Memorial to Folly. How many blue sources are in here? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Yeah, it might just be, we might just go to like 13 and 13. Just like swap this for a Black Memorial. I also might just like add another utility land in here. I don't know. We'll see. I'm going to think about it tonight.